to A Well-Designed Business. My name is LuAnn, and I'm so glad you found this podcast. Together with my husband Vince and our partner Bill, we have grown our company Window Works from the ground up. So I know and I understand the challenges you face in running your interior design business. I also know that your talent alone isn't enough to ensure your success. So on this podcast, we talk about strategies and practical steps to help you grow your business. But make no mistake about it, we have our share of fun here too, mixed in with those aha moments that I love so much. This isn't fluff. Nobody has time for that. Whether you are a new interior designer or a seasoned designer, I am here to help you create and to manage the kind of interior design firm that you dream of. It's straight talk and it's action. Are you ready? Let's get started. Hi, welcome to A Well-Designed Business. Today's show is sponsored by Fay Belle. Fay Belle is a full-service luxury rug collection that offers authentic vintage and fully customizable rugs for design firms in the United States and Canada. And I'm so happy about today's show because Fay Belle is run by the sister-in-law dynamic duo of Kate O'Hara and Kaley O'Hara. If you are a longtime listener of the show, then I know you know who Kate is. Originally on the show in episodes 130 and 215, Kate is the CEO and creative director of Martha O'Hara Interiors. And it is precisely because of the pain points that the designers in her design business were experiencing in specifying and acquiring quality custom and vintage rugs that led to the creation of Fay Belle. So today, Kate and Kaley share their insights into the rug industry, what makes Fay Belle so special, and how Kate and Kaley have worked so hard to make the process of ordering custom rugs for your clients even easier for you. So happy to introduce them to you. Hi, Kate. Hi, Kaley. Thanks so much for joining me on A Well-Designed Business today.
Hi, LuAnn. This is Kate. So glad to be here. Thanks for having us.
Hi, LuAnn. This is Kaley. I'm so excited to be here today. Thank you so much for having us.
I am very much looking forward to this conversation. First, so fun to meet you, Kaley. It's fun to meet you just to begin with what you and Kate are doing. But, family of Kate, I feel like, wow, already love you. I mean, Kate is one of my favorite people on the planet. So excited to get to know you a little bit. And Miss O'Hara, Kate O'Hara, listen to me, lady. Did you need something to do in your part-time? Like, here you guys are you're co-founders of this new rug company. And, Kate, I know the kind of interior design firm you run. This is no small shop here. And, just what? You had 22 seconds of free time every fifth day and figured you got to fill it up? What's going on?
Listen, I don't do well not being busy. And I think that, LuAnn, if there's anyone in the universe who might understand that concept, it would probably be you. But yeah, you're right. This sort of emerged somewhat unexpectedly. I mean, it's not like we didn't mean to create a business or something, but creating it happened out of a series of moments. And it's just kind of grown, and it's been really exciting.
Well, I'm excited for you guys, and I think there's probably an extra layer of fun for the two of you to be working together and building this out. Am I right on that?
Oh my gosh, this is Kaley. It's been beyond fun. I always say Kate and I didn't really have a choice in becoming family, but she has become such a dear, dear friend, and that's such a good choice. And I love working with her every day. We're so much alike, and I pick her brain constantly. It's been a blast.
That's awesome. Now, first of all, who wants to just give me the little bit of background on Fay Belle? Like tell us a little bit about how it started. What is it? Who wants to start with that?
You should take charge because it's a little bit of a family business and it started with the O'Hara family. So Kate, you take that one.
Okay, I will. So this is Kate, and Fay Belle started, as you mentioned, LuAnn. I run Martha O'Hara Interiors, which is an interior design company that my mother started, Martha. And our designers, and Martha in particular, just loves area rugs, loves them. And whether she's sourcing vintage antique rugs or custom rugs, it's just a part of the process she's so passionate about. And it was more challenging, it felt like, than it needed to be. We just ran into problems and back orders and things taking so long. And it was something that she loved, but also that frustrated her and I think our designers as well. So at some point we just felt like, gosh, shouldn't we be able to just fix this problem for ourselves? Maybe we should just start sourcing our own rugs. Maybe we should create a company that just does this thing that's bothering us and that's become too much of a challenge. So that's where it began, was just me seeing everyone, frustrated. And you know me, LuAnn, and I see frustrations. I feel like, well, that's an opportunity to improve something. So that's what we did. And Fay Belle is named after my great grandparents. And we just created the company to help our designers out. And over a period of a few years, we went from having vintage rugs to tiled rugs to custom rugs. We just sort of kept layering in different types of rugs that we were offering our team and refining the whole process of the ordering and customizing. And within a few years' time, we found that some of our designer alum were coming back to us and saying, hey, wait, can we still order rugs from Fay Belle? Because it just turned out to be a really nice process and a really beautiful product for our clients. And so we, of course, said absolutely. And then fast forward to a holiday, probably, where Kaley and I are kicking back and maybe having some wine. And I'm telling her how nice it is to have some alum coming back to ask to do this. And she pointed out that if other designers are wanting to order rugs, perhaps we should make our rugs available to a broader group of people. And so that's when we decided, hey, maybe Fay Belle could be a trade rug line for designers. And that's how it all happened.
Interesting. So just to give a little context, because of course I know you very well. I mean, and loyal, longtime listeners will know you as well, because I talk about you every, 10th show, because you're brilliant. But you were on episodes 130 and 215. So if you are new to the show, definitely go back, because Kate is brilliant, definitely. But a little context for people who may not know you, Kate. So O'Hara Interiors, as you said, was started by your mother. Now you're running the firm. And when you say things like, sourcing, our designers were sourcing, a designer listening that doesn't have a concept of the scale of your firm is like, well, how often do you need a rug? But the size of your design team, and as many design teams as you have, that layers in, we could probably use a rug 4 times a month, right? So how big is the team? Well, and maybe how big is the team when you started doing this? And then, of course, when you say your designer alums, again, I know what you mean. It's the men and women that have worked for O'Hara Interiors that have moved on. But again, the size of your team informs how many people that really could be.
Sure. Well, so Martha O'Hara Interiors is a residential interior design firm with locations in Minneapolis and Austin, Texas. So we have teams in both locations. In total, we have there are about 25 of us. And I believe probably a little less than half are dedicated designers working with clients. And then the rest of our team is a lot of support staff doing things like placing orders and helping with pricing and helping with tracking and claims, all the things that tend to take up a lot of a designer's time. Mm-hmm. So yes, to your point, we weren't frustrated because 2 or 3 times a year as we were ordering rugs, it was a futzy process. We were feeling a little frustrated because the multiple times a month and sometimes even a week that we were ordering rugs and trying to design rugs, it just felt like this is slowing down our ability to serve our clients. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of I'm always looking for the latest bottleneck in our process, and this from a design standpoint was becoming a bottleneck. And so that's where we decided maybe we can make a fix.
Right. Well, and it's funny that you mentioned the bottleneck, because when you were describing that, in my brain, I was saying the words, "This is Kate." Every time I speak to you, you're consistently always looking where you can streamline the efficiencies of your entire company. This is your genius, your superpower, and really just taking a look. And so it's it's no surprise that if you're, as a company, 12, 13 designers are on the daily specifying and sourcing, that this is a cool thing to have in-house, and to know that you've got that process locked down, right? So, okay, so then enters Kaley. Kaley's like, great, you and your 20 designers are doing this, right? But like, if your alumni are coming and saying, I've moved on, opened my own firm, I've moved on, gone to another firm, but I sure love that line, let's build it out. What do you think it is about that's compelling about Fay and Belle, that when a designer does leave O'Hara Interiors, that they're saying, hey, but I still want to order? What is it about the product line? Who wants to take that?
I can take that one. This is Kaley. I think first and foremost with Fay and Belle, we are with you every step of the way. I'm kind of your right-hand rug girl, you can call it. Whether you're ordering straight off of our site, everything on our site right now is mostly like the vintage rugs you're going to see, and a lot of those are going to ship to you directly within a few weeks. We have them in stock and they're ready to go. But we also offer custom rugs, and the custom rugs do take a little bit more time. And with that, like I said, from the time you're picking out the design, the color, the materials you want to make it as, I'm going to be with you every step of the way, and you're going to know every single process, and everything's going to be approved through you. And I think that's what makes it really unique. And all of our rugs are one of a kind and special. And Kate's traveled the world to find the best resources, the best manufacturers, everything. And so they're truly quality rugs that you'll have for the long time, being a lifetime. And that's kind of what sets us apart, is that you're going to have someone with you the whole time designing your rug, and also you're going to need a rug that's completely unique and special.
So that begs the question for me, who does not design or specify rugs. Is that a pain point generally that your designers were finding also, that it's one thing, it sounded like the main pain point was stock and delivery and all of that, but is that also a common pain point, that a designer feels like, I might have found a good resource or a nice quality rug, but I'm not getting support from the company that I would typically order it with, in what, all the myriad of questions that come with going and ordering and specifying a rug?
Kate here. Yeah, I think that there are a few pain points that designers run into when you're sourcing rugs. So there are different types of rugs you might be sourcing. And if you're looking for a beautiful vintage or antique rug, that can just be a long process, searching and searching, because you have to go to a lot of different platforms to find what you're looking for. So part of what we did is we said, we just need to have a kind of broad selection of vintage and antique rugs for the designers that we're serving, so that they can hopefully feel like they can consistently come to us and find something beautiful. So that was one pain point we were trying to solve. And that I think we did pretty successfully. The second was that we learned pretty quickly that vintage rugs are pretty difficult to source in really large sizing. It's not that we can't, we certainly can, but that gets, just the rugs that come in are very specific. It's a little bit hard to specify exactly what we want. So we started developing our tiled rug selection, which essentially gives us the ability to give you rugs in different sizes and with patterns. And I mean, there's a lot that we can do there. But the big kind of motivator for the tiled rugs was just that now we can create vintage-like rugs, because they're made out of vintage rugs, right? That are in any size, any shape that you might need, that might not exist in a true antique rug. And then when it comes to the custom rugs, I think that sometimes the process and the frustration was either that it was hard to find really high quality hand knot rugs, for the higher end client who's a little more discerning. And if you could find it, you might have trouble as a designer just knowing how to navigate a custom rug ordering process. I mean, I know better than anyone. As a designer, you are juggling so many different things, right? And as the designers on our team, they don't have time for a really clunky process or a complicated process, or having to basically like go back and get a second degree in rug design in order to order a custom rug, which is, I think, what it felt like sometimes. And so for our team at Martha O'Hara Interiors, what happened was we said, okay, how can we streamline this? And then we also were just kind of like, how can we build in a lot of support to teach a designer how to do this? And what we found is it's intimidating, right? It is intimidating to order a custom rug. And yet once you've been through the process one time, it's like, oh, well, this is totally manageable now. And because we have a nice streamlined process for our designers. So it was like a whole series of problems. And that was what really led us to decide to create Fay and Belle, was just like everywhere we turn, there's like one challenge after another. It's taking so much of our time, whether we're doing it one way or another. And how can we fix this?
And the thing is, what I love is, you know better than most people. Like you said, you have a big team. If you have 10 or 12 lead interior designers on your team, you're seeing a myriad of projects from, all over across the country, and from small to super large projects, multi, six-figure probably projects into seven-figure projects. But you're also seeing the different, the opportunity to see 10 or 12, and that's at one time. And of course, through the course of running your business, designers come and go. Like you said, you have your alumni, the different personalities and the different working styles. And that's like, a tremendous, data pull of the things that drive a designer crazy, right? Like in a process. And so it's like your own little petri dish of what can I do to make this easier or better, right?
We do. And I'm glad you mentioned that, LuAnn, because, you hear people say a lot like design, like by designers for designers, which I love. I absolutely support that. But the Fay and Belle is by designers and battle tested by them, because it served us for many years before we really opened it up to other designers. So it wasn't serving up just a problem we saw that we thought theoretically might help designers. We really built this somewhat selfishly for ourselves. And then we thought, oh, this works. Let's do this. Let's make it available to others. And that's, I think, something that maybe does make Fay and Belle a little bit different, is just that it has been designed very specifically for a team of designers who have used it for years. And we have modified the business to fix problems and make it, me, to streamline it and make it a little bit better every chance that we get for designers who want to offer the very best design to their clients, but who, have to watch the clock too, because their clients want them to, and they want the design as quickly as possible, and because they're running their businesses.
Right. I love that. I love that you just said that, have to watch the clock too, because, on a very practical note, you as a designer really might want to spend 5 billable hours finding the perfect rug, but like literally you actually don't always have the luxury of doing that. It doesn't line up with the total projected expenses for the job and what you have outlined for the client to expect. And so therefore having a resource that, I love the idea that you said, like, you guys have gotten all the kinks out by using it internally for, however long, years, not a minute. And now it's, fully cooked and ready to go. All right. And then one thing I wanted to go back to is you use this term tiled rugs. So who wants to explain, LuAnn, who is not an interior designer, what a tiled rug is?
This is Kaley. I can explain that one for you. Tiled rugs are basically our customized versions of our vintage rugs. So what we do with our vintage rugs is they'll be decades old, and we sort of re-dye them and bring them back to life, whether it's their original color or we're bleaching them and doing one monochromatic color to them. Some of these rugs are so old that we can't quite bring them back to life, but they still have beautiful aspects of them. So we can take different bits and pieces. And what we can do is piece these different vintage rugs together to create a custom oversized, whether you have a huge room to fill rug or do a runner, going up your stairs or in your hallway. We can kind of customize those vintage rugs to exactly what your room is needing.
Interesting. So, Kate, what Kaylee's saying is, if you're out traveling, the world, and you find a beautiful rug, but maybe there it exists in whatever country you're in, it's 8x10, and maybe half or 3/4 of it really isn't viable any longer. But in your brain, you're like, you know what? We can cut this other half up into pieces and use it as part of another, of this tile type rug. Is that what we're talking about here?
That is exactly right, LuAnn. We are, as you said, we're kind of scouring very specific regions of the world known for beautiful antique rugs. And most of the rugs that you'll find are rugs that we have refurbished entirely, and they might be just little small scatter rugs. They might be larger area rugs for a room, but they have been restored really beautifully. We've kind of given them a second life, right? But we do absolutely come across rugs that we think, well, this is beautiful, half of it, and the other half cannot be restored. And in those cases, what we're doing is we're taking those rugs and we're giving them the parts that are restorable, essentially the same treatments as we would give a complete vintage rug, but then we're cutting them into different shapes and sizes and creating patterns that then get stitched together into a beautiful rug that can be any size, which creates a lot of flexibility. And, I often say to designers, just think of it as designing a backsplash for a kitchen. That's essentially what you're doing with these rugs, because your stitching is your grout line, your patchwork or tile is like your backsplash tile. And then you can create lots of different patterns and motifs as you go. And we've already done that for you. So it's not like you have to. You can say, I want a subway tile. I want a chevron. You can name what you'd like. Or you can come to us and say, can we create this? So there's some flexibility there.
Interesting. And, it seems very on I hate the word trend, but on trend in sustainability and being ecologically forward and all of the things, right? Because otherwise like you're repurposing things, and something that isn't quite viable as itself, you're still figuring out ways to repurpose it and have it back into the marketplace, so it's not sitting in a landfill, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think another great thing about these rugs too is, first and foremost, we are reusing them. Exactly. And then second off, these rugs are so durable. So if they can handle a ton of foot traffic. So if you have kids running in and out of your house all day, if you have pets, if you have anything like that, they can withstand a lot. So people like that on top of the beauty as well, because they'll last in your home and they hold up really well.
Interesting. Very interesting. And then one of the benefits, especially in this era of COVID here, is you have a really good quantity of in-stock inventory. Am I right on that?
You are correct. This is Kaley. On our site right now, we have over 150 rugs in stock, ready to go and ship. We give about a 3 to 4 week time frame of you receiving them. That's just because some of our rugs maybe need a little cleaning or something here and there, but yeah, over 150 in stock if you go on our site right now.
Very good. And that I mean, look, like you said, Kate, you're running a design firm. You know what your designers have been up against for the last, year and a half at this point. It's hard to believe we're it's a year and a half of COVID, right? But that's the big pain point, is that you can't complete a project because you can't get the different components of a project. And so this is probably like a great thing for your team, and then the greater design network in general, right?
Oh, yeah. What we've seen, I mean, it has just been an incredible Wild West of a year, right? And trying to get furnishings into clients' homes has been like the challenge of, of the industry. And what we found is that, especially for clients who might be remodeling or building, which is a whole lot of people right now, they now have these beautiful floors and probably a new dog, because everybody got a dog in the last year and a half. And those floors are getting all scratched up, or they're afraid they're about to. And so even as, most furniture might take a while, our designers were just like, we need access to rugs quickly so we can get some rugs laid out into these homes, even if the furniture hasn't arrived yet. So Kaley and I worked on just identifying as many really beautiful, beautiful rugs we could as possible, and sourcing them and getting them in. And and we're bringing them in regularly. We've had multiple, groups and selections and collections come in. And we did it largely because we all know every designer's got a client who needs some furniture yesterday and doesn't really believe shipping and supply chain issues are real. But at the same time, a lot of us just want to protect all the progress that has been made through a remodel or a build, and a rug is a way to do it. I mean, that's probably the most vulnerable part of the house once it's finished and now everybody's just running around through an empty house. It's like nothing is safe on the floors. And so, laying down rugs can be really helpful.
Well, the upstairs hallway becomes the bowling alley for the kids, right? Let's be serious.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, this house is empty. The living room is the hockey room and the upstairs hallway is the bowling alley. Okay. All right. Now, I know Kate's superpowers. I know that Kate is, as I said, a brilliant business mind and sees the gaps and the holes in efficiencies and structures, because I have been fortunate, not just the 2 conversations on the podcast, but many conversations in real life, in private. Kaley, though, it sounds like your superpower was really, bringing this to a company that now serves the greater design industry. Talk about your superpower and how you come into this, and are you overseeing the trade accounts, and how is it that you're really working with the designers and doing the custom rug ordering and all of that? Give us some insight to what makes you amazing.
I love that, my superpower. So my background is completely different than Kate's. I've been in sales the last 10 years of my life. And as Kate had mentioned earlier in the show, that we got together a few years ago at Christmas time or at some holiday, and we were just talking rugs. And I was kind of giving her just a few simple sales questions. Who's your target demographic? And gosh, if other designers are wanting this who left your firm, there's got to be more designers out there on top of it. And there's got to be, on top of other designers, just other people in general. I know, like, I'm a 30-something-year-old mom of 2, and I love these rugs. And I have I had no previous super interior design background. And so my big thing was just opening the site up so other people could order it, not just, keeping this niche clientele. I wanted to open it to everyone. And it's been so fun. I take on the role once an interior designer opens a design account with us. I am sort of, like I mentioned, their right-hand man. I will walk everyone through the steps and processes, whether it's a custom rug, whether they're ordering straight from our site, one of our vintage rugs. I will be with you every step of the way. If you are looking for something, a blue 9x12 rug, I can reach out to our suppliers and find exactly what you need. I'm sort of just the right-hand girl, and I have absolutely loved it. Interior designers are the best people to work with. Everyone is so friendly and so nice, and it's really, really been a fun adventure to do it with Kate along the way. But like I said, as soon as you open that design account with us, you're going to get my contact information, and I will be with you every step of the way to find specifically what you're needing, what your clients need, everything to fit the room. I'll learn about family needs. If you have lots of kiddos and you want super soft rugs, we can go that direction. Anything like that, we can customize anything you need.
So it's interesting. So it sounds like it's if I'm an interior designer and maybe I don't have yet the experience under my belt of specifying and ordering vintage rugs and other rugs that are probably, pretty costly because they're going to last forever. And maybe I have a little trepidation of, what is this really like? It's not just click on a website and order it. You can have a conversation and say, will this work in this space? And, blah,
Totally.
blah, blah.
Yeah, totally. And I think that's what makes our company, we're family run. And I think that's what makes it so much more personable and just so unique based on anyone else. You're not just, dropping a bunch of money to get a rug that you're not even sure is going to fit your space. We'll make sure it fits and you love it and it's exactly what you're needing.
So one thing that occurs to me as I'm thinking about being a designer in this process, especially, especially if I am not as confident, but in any regard, if I'm going to recommend to a client a particular rug that might be a nice size investment, how do I know if they're one of a kind, if the color is right? Like, how does that work?
So it works a couple different ways. This is Kate, for the, depending on the type of rug that you're ordering. So if you're ordering a vintage rug, for instance, that we have in stock, when you go to our website, you're going to see what we have. And for every rug that you are interested in, you're probably going to see multiple images of that rug from different angles and in natural light. So we take photos of these so you can see the whole rug, so that you can see the rug from different angles, and so that you can also see some details. And we will try to give like a little description as well of what color and what you'll see. So there is a little bit of, yep, I'm ordering this online and I'm trusting the photos, but we've done a really careful job of photographing these and not like color editing them to be anything other than what they look like in natural light. And this is, somewhat the reality when it comes to ordering one of a kind items, because we don't have a little corner sample that we can send you of that particular rug, because we'd then be cutting that rug up. What we do in terms of over dyed rugs, if you're wanting to order something that a vintage rug that we bleach and dye, typically it would be the same. We would say, you know what, go to the website and take a look, because a black rug, for instance, a black over dyed rug can have some different looks. Some rugs are going to take the dye and really absorb it, and it's going to truly feel black all over. Some rugs are going to have almost a denim sort of look, because some areas are a little bit more worn than others. That might be why we chose to over dye it, because the rug is beautiful, but we weren't going to be able to restore the full pattern the way that it was originally. So it has a little more of a denim casual look that we love. And some rugs are actually going to display the original pattern underneath the over dye. And this is all really viewable in photos. And I think that we do a nice job of showing that. So that's one type. When it comes to tiled rugs, if you're ordering a custom tiled rug, we can actually send you a sample of the tile that you might expect. But as with anything with these types of rugs, we will, be saying there's going to be variation. Every tile is not going to be exactly the same. It's going to feel a little bit, just like with a natural stone, you may have a sample of a natural stone, but that every tile is actually going to look a bit different. The same goes with our rugs. When it comes to our custom hand knot rugs that are coming out of Nepal, there we're going to go through a real process with you where you're going to be selecting, once we have the full rug designed, and I can talk about that process if you think it would be helpful, but we're going to put together a rendering, just like you would in a remodel. This is like a rendering of an interior. We'll do a rendering of the rug itself for you to see. And once that is approved, then we will order a strike off. And a strike off's like a 1 by 1 foot sample of the rug that you as a designer may never show your client. You're just seeing for yourself, yep, the colors look good, the texture looks right. Or you may have one of those clients who wants to see everything that comes across your desk, and then you have a sample to share with them. So like I say, it depends on the type of rug, but we do have, even with some of the vintage, we can send samples. It's just more going to be a sample to show you, the texture, the depth, the pile height of the rugs, more so than this is exactly the rug you'll be ordering.
Well, when you explain it, it makes perfect sense to me. It's like the actual true vintage, that it's a one of a kind. It's almost like buying art, right? It's like you sort of are expecting that there's going to be variations and maybe a surprise color that's in, part of the yarn or whatever, but that strikes me as part of the charm of it and, the beauty of it. And then the tiled rug, of course, I can see how you would be able to get a little piece of it or whatever. But to your point, I was thinking the same thing before you said it. It's like, picking a slab. It's like if you take a little piece to your client, the rest of the slab can be completely different. And so that's understandable and relatable. And then, of course, finally, the corner strike off. We've all worked with that before. So I love it. And then, because we do have to think about the times when we do place an order, and maybe we aren't happy with it. Maybe we don't think it's so charming, the pop-up color that came in that vintage rug. What are the actual policies for returns and things like that? Is there anything that we should understand in that regard?
Yeah, I think in that regard, for the most part, because we're working so closely and directly with the client, we don't see a ton of returns, just being completely transparent.
Mm-hmm.
We 100% will work with you. We never want anyone to have anything in their homes that they don't like or that doesn't fit. So of course we will work with you if it doesn't work, and we can get you exactly what you want. But because we do work so closely and we do offer so many different ways to show you the rug and preview the rug before you get it, we just aren't seeing a ton of that, to be totally honest.
Okay, so this is much more what's the word? It's like you've mentioned a couple of times. Kaley, you're at their right hand and you're walking them through it. But even if I am an experienced designer and I have a ton of experience in specifying, purchasing antique rugs, maybe I'm that guy or girl that has traveled the world myself, the way Martha, and you guys did for your own firm before you streamlined this, right? Even that, it's not a click and buy. There is conversation and all of the customer service that goes with it, because that's just the way you've set up the company. That's specialized, that's different as opposed to a click and buy website.
So we do have click and buy options. All of our in-stock rugs are on the site right now. We have multiple pictures of everything. So if you do just say, hey, I'm looking for a really cool vintage rug, I'm not really sure exactly what I want, you can go look at a million different pictures of the rugs on the website of our 150 in stock, and you can just click it and buy it and it's yours.
Okay, I love it.
The Fay Belle website does have click and buy, which is available to, a homeowner who wants to purchase, but they're purchasing things at a retail price. Any designer who wants to go in and click and buy is going to have a trade account, and they'll be getting a significant discount off of that retail price. And most of the people of the designers who are going in and making a purchase that way, they're just so familiar with our line. They already have done this, and so they know what they're doing. So some designers do just go in, they make their purchase, they're done, because they already are familiar with the product, and there's a comfort level. Typically, when someone's placing their first order, we're really kind of walking them through the process so that they're comfortable with it. And if there's any level of customization, that's when there will be things like renderings, and we'll be having a little bit more back and forth.
Okay, good information. I didn't realize that it was retail facing as well. However, your trade discount is there, and designers don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, and it's retail facing, but that's not really what we're promoting.
It's not your focus.
Yeah, it's there, but no designer will ever have to be concerned that they might be selling something for more than what is available via retail price to the end homeowner,
right,
and the person who might buy from the website.
Well, and that makes sense. I mean, here you are, your mother, how many years running the firm? Now you're leading the firm. It's like you're not going to, build a company that's in direct one of the pain points as a designer you guys faced. You know what I'm saying? So it makes logical sense that there's a good delineation and separation between pricing for designer and pricing for retail, right?
Totally. Yeah. For designers out there with any concerns, rest assured, for my own mother and Martha O'Hara Interiors, we've run, through just every iteration of making sure that our designers, and designers who have accounts with us are getting a great discount off of what is retail, and we're very conscientious of those differences.
Yeah. And then what are you seeing, before I let you guys go, are there any tips or ideas that you're seeing in trends in rugs that maybe a designer, like you know me, I don't talk about the pretty a lot, but let's talk about the pretty for a few minutes.
Absolutely. Which part of the pretty do you want to hear about?
Well, I mean, I just feel like I'm more like, is there something happening in rugs now that I should know? Is there a trend? Is there something different, like something that because I think what it is in my mind, I guess what I'm thinking of, Kate, is, again, I'm always thinking about your perspective of having the advantage of all the data of running so many different design projects and overseeing a company that puts out so much production in a year. So what you experience in a 3-month and a quarter, another designer that's a solo or one or two people in their team might experience over the course of a year. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like the volume that you do puts you in a place to see and understand maybe what's happening in the trends in rugs.
Well, yeah, I suppose that's true. I think that what we're seeing is is sort of regional, right? So there's a general kind of universal love right now of vintage rugs, and we're seeing a lot of designers embrace the tiled rugs when they need just some flexibility in size and shape. But the vintage rugs, I think, are really popular right now because they have this sort of casual coolness to them. They feel a little bit almost beachy, if that makes sense. And as Kaley mentioned earlier, they're really durable. And I don't know about all of your listeners, but I know that our design team has really experienced homeowners more than ever caring about the durability of their rugs, because there are more people in the house, spending more time in the house with more pets in the house, and everything's just taking a little bit more of a beating these days than it did a couple of years ago. So the vintage rugs have been really popular for that reason, and for both the look and just the function. When it comes to the custom hand knot rugs, though, that's where we're just seeing more and more creativity. I think clients and designers are just excited to do something different and really personalized. Maybe take a favorite piece of art and create a new design based on that, or take a really classic pattern and just turn it on its head with the color selections that are going into things. So we're just seeing a lot of I don't want to say risk taking, it's not risky, but just a little bit more boldness and confidence in trying new things when it comes to custom rugs.
Interesting. I love it. So here's the thing. How do designers get involved? And is there a website or a specific place that we go to set up an account? And is it as simple as, giving your resale, your EIN number and getting started? How does all that work?
Yeah. On our website, fayandbellerugs.com, we have a specific section for designers, and through there they can sign up for a trade account, and they will get a code that allows them to do a discount on top of everything on their site or anything customized they're making for their clients. So if they go ahead and go on our site, again, fayandbellerugs.com, we'd love to get everyone set up and work with you, and you'll get to know me really well.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Is there anything that I've left out? Anything about Fay and Belle that you would really love to make sure that the designer community is aware of from either one of you guys?
Well, I think we've probably covered most of this, but I just want people to know that if you are in need of something quickly, we've got it. But also, if you're in need of something really special, if you have a really discerning high-end client that needs something that's really, really unique, that's where a lot of our custom hand knot rugs come into play. And that's where we can do all sorts of things in terms of pattern, but also materials. We do a lot of wool and silk blends, and we can mix in mohair and linen and different things into the rug itself. We don't want anyone ever to feel intimidated by that, because when you have that discerning client, we've got the expertise on your side already to kind of walk you through it, and we'll take care of it with you so that your client gets what they need. And as I mentioned, once you've been through that process once, it's like, oh, I could do this all day long. Like, I know how to do this now. And I think the only other thing I'll mention as Kate from Martha O'Hara Interiors is that for any designer with any concern, there's really no overlap between Martha O'Hara Interiors and Fay Belle. I sometimes get asked about that. Fay Belle has its own team, its own systems, its own procedures, its own, space. And so Fay Belle and Martha O'Hara Interiors do work differently. One has just really informed how the other kind of evolved and grew.
Well, it's really the guinea pigs. You guys were the guinea pigs for the best version of a rug company and availability and all the things that you wish you had, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
We have a code for anyone who signs up on their initial rug purchase. If you apply for a trade account on top of your already discount, if you use the code WellDesigned10, we'll give you an additional 10% off on your first purchase.
Oh, okay. So I misunderstood. So this isn't just the trade discount. This is in addition to having the trade pricing that somebody might find on the site. You're giving an extra 10% off their first purchase.
That's correct. Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. We love that. That's awesome. We love special gifts. All righty. Well, I just love it. I just love any innovation that, makes a primary business or system, even a system of a business, more streamlined and easier to do and more profitable to do. And then to turn around and build it out into its own standalone company is, it's exciting and it's not easy to do. I know that this, sounds like all fun and games, but I can imagine what went into it in order to really make it successful and to have all of the moving parts and the travel and the importing of all the rugs and, the processes that you put them through. But, I know Kate. So, and Kaley, you sound like, you're right there with her, a match right for her. So what a great team you two ladies make.
Thank you. We appreciate it. It's been so fun getting to talk to you, and we're excited to meet all our new friends.
I know. So, well, thanks so much for joining me on the show today and for sponsoring this episode. And I wish you guys so much success with this new line of Fay Belle rugs. Thanks tons, guys.
Thank you, LuAnn. We hope to talk to some of your listeners soon.
I can tell you I'm not at all surprised to hear the story of how Fay Belle came to be. What I know of Kate is that she is committed to consistency, to streamlining, and doing whatever it takes to bring efficiency into her business. I've had the privilege to get to know her very closely over these last several years, and I tell you those things because they're true. And in turn, that desire for efficiency and drive for streamlining has allowed her to bring that to you with Fay Belle. Kate saw a problem and she decided to fix it. And when that proved to be beneficial with a little nudge from Kaley, they realized that if they brought it to the trade, to you, that Fay Belle could be the answer to some of the problems that you might be facing as well. I love that Fay Belle emphasizes being with you every step of the way. We're not all rug experts, but when your clients look to you for guidance and answers, it's nice to have someone to turn to who can help you through it, right? That's what Fay Belle offers. If, like Kate did in her design business, you have found yourself hung up with stock and delivery, having to waste hours searching through various platforms for antique and vintage rugs, or a clunky ordering process that tanks your creativity and your productivity, then Fay Belle is your answer. Go to their website, fayandbellerugs.com, and set up your trade account. And remember, if you use the code WellDesigned10, WellDesigned10, you'll get an extra 10% off. I can't thank you enough, Kate and Kaley, for sponsoring this episode and for sharing your story and your insights with us. Thank you, everyone else, for listening. Decide to be excellent. Thank you so much for joining me again today. This podcast is a production of WindowWorks, your resource for custom window treatments and awnings. To learn how we can help you on your next interior design project, go to www.windowworks-nj.com. And if you're interested in working with me on your business, either through masterminds or one-on-one coaching, or you want to know how to get my book, The Making of a Well-Designed Business, or you just want to know what's going on in the podcast land and where I'm going to be. All of that is found at LuAnnNigara.com. Thank you so much. Have an excellent day.